one of the solutions that we provide, it's called WetCare. So anything that you would dry clean, we will wash on water. So if you look at the labels, it's going to say dry clean only, or it's 100% wool or silk. Normally, the option would go, let's go to dry clean option. We are going to use those items, those types of textiles or materials, to wash on water. Mike will help us understand why this is possible, because on the Cine Circle it says, you have to achieve certain knowledge on, certain aspects of what is related to laundry, and one of them is chemistry. So that's why we have Mike here to explain. And what I'm going to do while he's starting the presentation, I'm going to pick up the woolen fabrics and I'm going to process them, dry them, and then if you hang out until the end, we can go and finish them at one of the finishing booths at the show. Okay?
So Paulo's doing the start of a intensive wet care program. In this machine, we program for the wet care. We have two main programs, intensive and then a dry program. The intensive is going to be these constructed garments like blazers. So they might have a lining, might have padding, other woolens, sweaters, cashmere, angora, and these are all going to be cleaned safely with water. So he's doing a sort, getting that first load started. There's a lot of different things that we can do with this machine and a lot of different loads, but number one, we want to sort dark, light, and get a load started for you so you can have time to see the whole process. Miele and Kressler have come together to create this wet care system. So it has the right equipment and the right products to go in there to care for dry clean only garments with water. The Lanadol system is what we use with that machine, and it does a great job. So about 30 years, 1991, I believe, is what I saw. This partnership has been together. So forefront of caring for garments with water. We're talking a little bit about sorting loads. So how do we separate the loads as we're getting ready to do our dry cleaning? So we have dark colors and light colors. We might have some bleeders that we hold aside. And then we look at the weight of the garments too. You want to try to do similar weighted garments. It's all the jackets at one time, pants, suits, and then maybe the silk blouses and the blends and the lighter weight things on their own cycle. You can mix, but it's best to do it this way for the dry times. Does that make sense with the different programs?
And then the other thing that I could add, Mike, would be Miele tries not only to provide a solution for dry cleaners, but also we are very aware of the needs of the environment. So we try to be as sustainable as we can. We don't have like a full load of woolens. The full load for wet cleaning would be half the size of the drum. So if we're talking about a 55-pound drum size, this is a 55, we would have half of that loaded into the machine. So it would reach up here. In that case, you wouldn't even see that the machine has water, meaning our water levels are very low. Actually, we don't need water or much water to do the process. What we need is the right mix. The chemistry provides, the solution to relax the fibers, to make the colors last, and to protect. But we can't. But we have to do the right mix. So it has to be the right amount of detergent with the right amount of water, and that could even be something that you don't see. But all the garments inside will be embedded on that mix. So everything will be cleaned, processed by the end of the cycle, although it's a delicate cycle. So you understand.
Yeah. So in the bottom of the machine, there's actually where the water and the products go to mix, right? So it's all pre-mixed before it gets on the garments and touches those fibers. Fibers are protected from stage one here. So we talked about our separate loads and the separate processes. Of course, this machine can do anything, laundered shirts, comforters, but today we're just talking about the WetCare. So we have the two different ways of separating. Oops. Okay, so this is the sensitive load here. 30 years, we mentioned that Chrysler and Miele have a really long history together to put this product together so you guys can clean clothes with water in an environmentally friendly manner. Very conservative on electricity, on water. Save time with spotting. You're going to cut your spotting time down by about 75%. And so this has been a great partnership for you guys, and then you can promote this to your clients. Oops, I get to this, and I always like the fiber up top, the microscopic look of that fiber. And you can see the scales. It's a hollow core, natural fiber, so we need to protect that, because what's the one thing that we really worry about with water that we always keep in our mind? With wools in particular, shrinkage, maybe, felting. So how do you protect that fiber to keep that from happening? So one is that mix that we talked about, that liquor that comes on down and protects those fibers. It coats that, coats the scales, it coats the ends, and it keeps that protected. The next step is the action of the machine itself. Very important. You know, our Lanadol wet cleaning process, it's a true process for dry clean only garments that you can do with water. Again, a great certification, environmentally friendly process. What comes out the drain goes right down the drain. It's been tested. There's nothing in there that's harmful or dangerous. It's all a really safe process. So we got the RAL UZ 104 certification for that. So you can let your customers know that as well. You guys got a certified environmentally friendly process. Environmentally friendly, protects the fibers, protects the colors. You're cutting down your spotting time. And then we touch on a little bit too, and how much savings you get with your water and your electricity. They're very, very conservative. When the wheel is turning, that paddle comes down, it scoops up water, and it rains down onto the garments. That's how we can process those with this small amount of water. It's very, very efficient, and it's got very low electrical consumption too. So I encourage, when I do an install, I encourage my clients to use it for more than just the WetCare, because you're going to save money on doing your shirts and doing your comforters, because it is so efficient. That all make sense so far? Hey, you do. It's a combination. That's a piece of the puzzle. The other piece of the puzzle is this machine, right? We mentioned, I think, the center circle. We'll get into that a little bit more, but it's mechanical action, time, temperature, and chemical action. All those have to be working together. So the chemicals are a part of that pie.
So you don't recommend this process with those chemicals in another machine?
No, you could. Right. I mean, this is just.
If you don't mind me interfering, so I got your question. Like, can I use these detergents that look like they are fabulous on another brand? You can. What is the level of quality that you will achieve? After we explain what's involved, and that's what Mike was saying, let's look at the center circle. What's involved in the true exponential of what laundry is, you know, what is the engineering behind laundry, then probably you will get an answer, because you can do it. The level is going to be a low level. The products are good, but all the other three components, there are 4 components. The other 3 are not good. And we will explain that. And I'll prove it to you component by component why Miele is the best option, although you can do wet cleaning with any other brand. You know what I mean? You know, no, sure.
Could it be a complete substitute for dry cleaning?
It is. I'm not stating that here. I'll give you a little bit about my history. Probably that will respond to your question. Before I came to the US, I used to work with a franchise brand called Sankasek. It's not known here because it doesn't exist here, but in all other countries in the world, Sankasek exists, and it's one of the biggest franchise brands in the world. Where I come from, we started with 3, and we had 300. When I had 300 stores under that brand, where I was, you know, the main player, training everybody, working with all the brands that you see around here, I didn't have this in my plant. When I met Miele, they said that they just invented wet cleaning. That's what we are explaining here today. Kreuzler and Miele invented the WetCare, the professional wet cleaning by Miele. So they invented, and they said we can do more than 30% in water instead of using the dry cleaning machine. To me, it wasn't satisfying. I wanted to go 100%, to your point. But I didn't know these machines. So they put these machines in my training school, because everybody that wanted to open a franchise would have to go through that school for 3 months. When I was playing with the machines, because I had to prepare them to start, you know, teaching people about the machines, I found the holy grail of washers and dryers. This is a washer, that's a dryer. Anything else is going to be boxes that agitate water or air runs through. It's true. Although the technology has evolved, and there are great machines out there, but they don't reach this. And I'll explain what are the main features. After that, guess what? I'm working for Miele. So the 300 stores that we opened, I went to work for Miele because I believed in the system. This is what I wanted. I didn't want dry cleaning anymore. I was sick of dry cleaning. Cleaning the distill, all that what's involved, you know, chillers, and I was sick of that. And it's not healthy, you know what I mean, to work, yeah. And the other thing was, it's too tiresome. I have to pre-spot 90% of everything. Anything that's organic, I can't allow going in there because it's not going to come out. When you're pressing pants that somebody peed on them, you pre-spot, you go there. When you're pressing, what happens? It's still there. It's not cleaning anything. Never cleaned anything. By the way, it's actually spreading that stain to other garments. Now, other garments smell the same thing. With water, not possible. So with water, water actually cleans everything. And by the way, it drains. It doesn't distill and reuse the same product again. Got it? To me, this was the holy grail. So when I started with Miele developing a concept that was AquaCare by Miele Professional, 100% wet cleaning stores, washer, dryer, finishing equipment, just water. I closed 80 stores of the other brand that I was working with, and after these stores were working, the neighboring stores that belonged to the other brand, they just had to close out because I could do the same thing with 3 employees. They needed 10. This is how fast, how good. Exactly. Got it? So now it's finishing, and if we press I, and we go here, it's 1,000 RPMs. And then now I'm extracting everything that we used, like all the chemistry, the water. I need to extract everything out in order to, when I dry, there's no major leftovers of humidity or moist that could compromise the garments coming out as they were when I threw them in. Because the biggest issue, as Mike said, was shrinkage, right? So if it's wool, I need to remove everything out as much as I can before I dry. That's why we do a final rinse at 1,000 RPMs. People would say, "Oh, you're crazy, right? Because it's wool, it's very delicate, you're going to damage." With this drum, impossible. And actually, I need the 1,000 RPMs to remove everything from that type of fiber. But on other drums that are not this concept, yes, I would have a problem. They would break down the fibers, and probably that mechanical action would even shrink whatever is in there right now. Okay? Questions?
So is this okay? And I encourage you that when the machine is done too, to come take a look at the wheel and what Paulo has described, how it's constructed. It's really unique. A lot of interesting features to see that. It's kind of like a golf ball inside a drum. So that protects the fibers along with the chemistry. All your delicate garments, wedding gown care, can all be done in this machine. Yeah. I do bridal care. I only do wedding gowns in my machine. Yeah. So, I mean, water, right? It's the best thing for hemlines. You're scrubbing those, and you can really save some time.
And the other detail, just a little detail. Everybody knows that, every dry cleaner knows that if I'm dry cleaning white stuff, they don't come out white. And if I do it many times, it becomes actually yellow-ish, right? On water, it's white as will always be white. And if you have the right products, they will keep on doing that for 3 to 5 times longer. Another benefit, if it makes sense.
So how many of you spend time on the spotting board, or do you have your spotters spend time on the spotting board? We'll look at this chart again. Most of what they're doing is going to be able to come out with the WetCare. So there's a small sliver of oils and grease and fats that you might have to pre-treat. And we have products to do that are water soluble and environmentally friendly. So now we're saving a lot of time on the spotting board. You know, when you're hanging up a load, pulling those pieces out of the dry clean machine, you're still looking at them. And you got those white crusties that always appear. You got to spray all that off. Takes a lot of time. So now we're saving time on the spotting board. There's that center circle, mechanical action, chemical action, time and temperature. As Paulo said, I can take care of that chemistry to protect those fibers. This machine will do all the rest. It can be programmed to a very, very minute detail to care for these garments. It's really kind of impressive when I do an install and I dial in how much soap we're going to put in there. It's an impressive machine. Any questions on the center circle? Or?
What is the temperature you are getting?
The question's the temperature?
Yes.
In dry. So the dryer, it's going to really raise that temperature quickly. It's going to get pretty high. I've seen it up to 140. But what that is doing, it's activating the conditioners, and it's getting that water hot. So that water's steaming off of the garment. It's like when we sweat, we stay cool. That garment will still be cool, but it's only for a very short period of time, then it comes back down. This has sensors in it to sense the moisture content. So that's how it knows when it's the right moisture content. We bring that down to about 5%.
Okay, what is the right moisture? What is the right amount of moisture that the machine stores? What is the right percentage?
Should be the 5%.
About 5%. Yeah. You could adjust per region. You know, everybody's a little, you got humidity, whatever. But that's about right. If it's a load of lightweight garments, blouses, and when that comes out of the dryer and you start sending it down to finishers, it's ready to be pressed, right? What's the first thing your finisher does when they get a piece? You're going to mist it with a little bit of water. We don't have to do that with this. If this is your second load, by the time that first load gets pressed, this one's ready to hit the finishers and get pressed up. Again, we're not using a lot of steam, we're using air, right? Because we already have moisture in there, just enough that when we put that air through there, it helps finish the garment. That's how you get that nice soft feel. This is a very important step to not miss. If you've ever taken garments out of the washing machine and hung them in the boiler room to dry because you had to get them done, and they come out, they're all crunchy or wrinkly, and your finishers hate you. There's a reason for that. You can't just hang them and dry them. We're going to activate that conditioner with a little bit of heat, and then at the same time, that's getting rid of some residual moisture, getting it ready to press. Mechanical aspect of this machine, I think we could probably do a full day just talking about how it's constructed and how well it works. But you see in this graphic the drum and where the clothes drop and how we can dial that in. That's one of many things. We talked about the honeycomb aspect of the drum, the wash tub down below that the paddles are picking up that water. All this comes together to become a very, very efficient machine and very well built. I don't know, it's
Technical issues.
mechanical. I know. There's the drum. So look at all the stuff coming out of a standard size. You know, your normal wash wheel has pretty good size holes in there. With the Miele, we got the honeycombs and a whole bunch of little holes. So when that garment gets pushed up against the wheel and gets ready to go into that high extract, it's safe. It's protected. That's why we can do 1,000 RPM.
And just a small note, that picture was took with a regular drum at 300 RPMs. This is on a Miele at 1,000 RPMs. So you could, because those don't go above, 600. They don't go above that. 800 probably, but never 1,000. This is 1,000 RPMs.
You know. Again, the drying part is really important. That's a step that we want to take. Get rid of that last little bit of moisture, activate those conditioners, make it easier for your finisher to press. So how long have we been here? Not very long, right? We're almost ready to hang this load. How long does your dry clean machine take? An hour, right? If you got to pre-spot everything, then you post-spot, and you got to rerun, so great time savings. You can really move the product through in a safe manner, an environmentally friendly manner, and the smell is good. You're not cleaning out a still, scraping the sludge on a Saturday night. You're not replacing filters. You don't have to call the EPA to come pick up your sludge. So we're saving time on spotting. We're saving time on maintenance. It's just, I don't know anything better. There we go. We can do leathers. You want to do leathers? We can do that in there. This is a typical setup for a WetCare process. All these products work really well together and with the Miele machines. So on the top, the Dupret, that's our spotting chemicals. Everything is water soluble and environmentally safe. So when these come out, on that post spotting, if you happen to have to rerun something, we're going to use some of this spotting chemical, and it's all water soluble. You don't have to blow it out. You don't have to vacuum it. You're just going to put it in the wheel. Whatever happens to be left in there, actually, it will help the wash instead of being detrimental. Okay. Making sense so far? It's just a list of the spotting chemicals that we have. Really simple chart, simple to use. Dry cleaning training becomes much easier. So you can bring somebody new on the board. We just have those things to use. And again, that's all environmentally friendly, water soluble, and safe for your WetCare garments. Well, I know that during this that we've talked a lot about the benefits. I guess the most important benefit is to you. You're going to end up saving money, right? We're less energy, less labor, no hazardous waste. So you're not buying permits. You don't have the truck come pull that away. Saving water, saving electricity. It's a win-win-win. Lots of different products. This is one size of machine. We have a couple others.
So just to take a glance at the Miele products, this is our range of products. We go, the smallest that we have is these little giants here. So that's the 18/20 pound little giant wash and dryer. Commercial grade, they will last 30,000 hours of operation, the same as all other products in our range. And we go from the 20 pound up to the 70 pound. That's our size right now. Before we were missing this size. We didn't have this size. This one, that size is a 55 pound. This is the 55 pound washer that now we have available for the US market. And the idea is to, help with the dry cleaners, with the launderers, with any facility that needs to do high end or high quality, or even fast production, with all sorts of sizes that would match whatever the needs are. The other thing that I would like everybody and incentivize everybody to take a look, as Mike said, look at the drum. The drum makes the huge difference. The controls are freely programmable, meaning I can tailor a program. Let's say a dry cleaner comes to me and says, Paulo, I'm doing this type of material I've never done before. We can tailor that for that laundry. For example, Mike does a lot of bridal services. He will have, silks and polyesters, correct?
Mm-hmm.
There's beads. What is the safest way to do things and keep them, nice, clean, white? It's water. The fear to do in water was, what's going to happen with the silks? I don't have any machine that, won't break the beads. Or if I go to dry cleaning, they could melt. Or if anything is glued, they will get loosened. What can we do here? We can do anything here. We can do, as he said, any wedding gown products. If it's old, we can change the rotation of the wheel, make it more gentle, so it's not, the mechanical action is a little bit lower. But when that happens, as we learned on the slide that showed the cinecircle, if we are lowering the mechanical action, other things we have to, increase. For example, probably more chemistry, probably more time, and probably a little bit temperature or less. But that's what these machines were built for, to tailor programs to do whatever we want to do. Just as, how will I say, additional information. We also work with these washers on very special applications. For example, labs, that they clean the filters, that clean the rooms when they are manufacturing pills. So if they are manufacturing pills, they don't want this batch to cross-contaminate the next batch. The only machines in the world that can clean those filters and keep them operating and last almost forever is the Miele machines. And they actually have a package with Glatt, that's the manufacturer for those filters, with Miele to do that. The reason why is they can't have that risk of a little particle of dust or whatever falling and interfering with the batch that's coming out. We have machines like this processing the patches for brain surgery. It's not laundry, but because it's freely programmable, I can adapt this to whatever I want. But when it comes to laundry, As Mike said in the beginning, this is not a wet cleaning machine. This is a washer and a dryer. So we can do anything. Shirts, high-end. We can do comforters, linens, anything you want to do. Plus the advantage of doing additional added value solutions like wet cleaning, disinfection, fire brigade gears, equine stuff, anything that we want. On this machine, I have 199 slots that are freely programmable. So I can have 199 different programs. Nobody will need 199 programs, but it's available. And we can do whatever we want. And all of them can be tailored. Even the standard programs that come from factory, I can change them. I have customers that were here before. They want to increase speed on production, but they wanted to keep the same quality. Normally a shirt program would take like 50 minutes. That's the regular, 40, 50. We do it in 25 with the same high level quality. But I have to tweak the machine, meaning there's other things that we have to put on the equation. Ideally, 25 is not the right time. It should be a little bit more. But to achieve his expectations, because for this customer in particular, that's a lot of money in his pocket that he's saving, right? It's moving a lot. But he has so much going on, and the program actually is built for two different machines. So he has a high steam finishing machine, and he has a Sankosha finishing machine. They work different. So they are prepared. He has a program that says, you know, shirts for high steam, shirts for Sankosha. That's what puts the shirts. Both have different prices, but that's what he wanted. He wanted something tailored for his needs. We can do that in these machines. Plus, with this drum, we will achieve that high quality expectation. Okay? What Miele is proud to say is with this assortment of machines is we can tailor any solution. Just tell us what the problem is. You know, I need this, I need that. We can do that. Making a statement here is like, I'm not the person that says, remove your dry cleaning machine and this will do everything. That's up to the owner, if he wants to go that way. My experiences says, and I had a big customer of mine in Florida, Oceanside Cleaners, he was just here, telling me that he's very happy, and he removed 3 of his dry cleaning machines because now he's doing 75% all on water. He is still choosing to do 25% on one machine that he still has there. He has his reasons. That's how it functions, and that's how he makes his budget, you know, every year. But here's the thing, you know, this is what we try to do: create solutions. He thought he would never take those 3 machines off, but you know, working and figuring out what was happening, this is why he's so happy. He had 3 shifts, starting at 3 a.m. and finishing at midnight every day. Today he only has 1 shift. Starts at 6 a.m. and finishes at 3 p.m. kind of, using the wet cleaning system. Now he can move more with less dollars in your pocket. Sometimes people say, oh, it's more expensive. Can I do on a cheaper machine? You can. Less quality, less speed, everything less. If you go for something with more quality, faster, keeping that standard, then I can promote my services. And people pay for that. It's not like they, if they don't want to pay for that, then yeah, go to another cleaner. But there's a lot of people that want quality. I'm one of those people. If I go to a cleaner, I don't need to, fortunately, but if I go to a cleaner, I'm going to take a shirt that probably my grandma gave it for my birthday. I don't want them to mess up. And when it comes back, I don't want the shirt to look old or like it was treated with a low quality process. And that's what customers feel. And if they don't tell you anything, they will leave you. You will never see them again. Those are the customers that you will never see. The ones that complain is because they need you, they believe in you, and they want you to do a change, But there's very few now. They just move along. So what Miele provides is a solution. You want to be high-end, you want to do good stuff, promote your business and make money, save, and that's where you make the bucks, not, purchasing or detergents that are cheaper, 10 cents. That's pennies. What matters is not what's happening here, it's what's ending. That's when you make the bucks. How you give back to your customer the product that he trusted you to take care of. And that's what brings the return. And that's why we have very successful cleaners that understood that and they changed. It doesn't mean that, they have all to go to Miele, but they have to think about, I need to change my process with high quality solutions. So Chrysler is a high quality solution and Miele is a high quality solution. We work in different parameters. Chrysler is doing the chemistry side, very successful, phenomenal products. We take care of the other three parts of the center circle. That's time, mechanical action, and temperature with these phenomenal machines that have all the perks. The drum, the freely programmable controls, the construction itself. This machine is not bolted to the floor. So and it's spinning at 1,000 RPMs. Soft mount. It's going to last 30,000 hours of operation. That's what we say. We have machines that are out there that are doing much more than that. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions, now it's the time. If you want to see something specific, make very specific questions, we are here for that. So G-force would be around 700 G-force. Okay. Actually, this machine goes to 1,500 RPMs, but we don't need that. That's that would be like for things more specific. So, having said that, it means you see the range that we go. So, any project with very specific, recommendations or needs, we have the availability to do whatever we want. But for woolens, ideally, it's 1,000 RPMs for 3 minutes, not more than 3 minutes. If you go more than 3 minutes, probably the phenomenon of shrinkage will happen. The thing is, Miele, before we created the programs, before we developed the drum, we learned about the textiles. We learned what they need. We learned about the applications, what each application needs more, what would be the best solution. And then we built the programs and the drum to provide that type of solution. So all our machines are indirect steam. We don't believe in direct steam. Installation-wise, direct steam it's one connection, but it's steaming directly into the water. That could also not be very good for certain delicate fabrics, okay? So it limits you on what you can do. If it's just wash and fold, fantastic. But if it's something more delicate, you better be careful. Miele always does indirect, so we have coils, so the steam goes through the coils and it heats up the water. So it's not steamed directly into the water batch. And that could also be harmful for the result, because don't forget, we are trying to do a mix. And that mix has to protect the fibers. If I'm injecting something directly there, I'm not allowing that chemistry to bond, to make what it's supposed to do. I'm actually deviating what it should be doing. You know what I mean? So we don't believe in that. Good point there. Thank you. Any other questions? So the question is if Chrysler has chemicals for wool, and so what we were showing before is they have a range of products. They call it the Lanadol products, where you have very specific and defined detergents or finishing or conditioners that used in the right moment when you either main washing or rinsing, it will help your fabrics keep the flexibility that they need to have, keep them clean, protect them, avoid the risk of decolorating, losing the color. So that's what they do. So they have these products that actually Mike was talking about, that you can do anything from wool, silks, even delicate wash. You can do wash and fold as well with a different type of products, and you can do leathers. There's a lot of things that you can do with the Corsa products. They have a wide range of products.
So what temperature you can dry, like 2020, dry for this, like this load, for instance? So I think what we ended up coming down to is
It's just over 100 degrees. We bring that temperature up quickly, right, to get that water starting to evaporate, and then we can bring it back down, and then that starts to evaporate, sets the conditioners, and gets that ready for your finisher. So there are sensors in here, if you look at the drum and the paddles, that detect the moisture content through continuity, right? Because we know electrons travel through at whatever rate in water. So it can do to within 1% of moisture content to what you decide. It's about 5% is normal when it comes out.
So
Like this. This is about what 5% is. So now your light load has already been down to the finisher. They're already pressing those. They're almost done. These will be hanging for 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is for them to finish. That's almost going to be ready, right?
So do we need any special machinery to dry, or we have
To make your life easier, yes. You should have tensioning equipment, right? And a lot of manufacturers of that. Sankosha is one of them.
that's what we are looking right now. So
Oh, good. Great product, right? If you did it without the tensioning equipment, you can, but it's a lot more work, right? Because you're shaping that. Tensioning equipment, even without WetCare, is still the way to go, right? Less labor, less training, right? How hard is it to get somebody into the shop anymore, even an interview, if you want somebody to work? With tensioning, you don't have to have that expensive, skilled finisher that we're used to. There's certain steps that each machine takes, and they don't change. You might change the shoulders, you might change the body, but it's the same steps. And when it comes off, right, it's been tensioned, if it's been steamed, it's done.
So what percentage, if you do a wet cleaning, is going to shrink? What percentage is going to shrink? Because when you do intentioning, so it's got to be, since you're doing a wet cleaning, so you have to have coming back to same land. So
Yeah.
what percentage is going to shrink if you do a
It's
wet
minuscule. It's minuscule. So one of the things that I do when I'm not in Atlanta, I'm in Washington State. I work with the EPA, and we take dry cleaners who have been using PERC, and there's grant money available to get rid of those and replace them with the Miele system, right? The shops that I do that to are now 100% WetCare. 99% of them would never go back to regular dry cleaning. Once you get, they smell good, they feel good, there's no waste, you're not scraping out the nasty still, spotting's less. I mean, if you have another couple minutes on the finishing side, that's okay. You're saving so much time over on this end. I mean, and on the spotting board, you're spotting everything that's water soluble. You eliminate that now. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. Great questions, too. That's the best part.